to democracy of country easier, opines BNP Secretary General. MOU signed for the first time to send manpower from Bangladesh to Italy through legal channel. NCP meets with National Consensus Commission. The party submits framework for fundamental reforms, emphasizing balance of power, accountability and decentralization. Israel carries out airstrikes in Yemen, Lebanon, Syria and Gaza on the same day. 54 killed in Gaza in Israeli attacks. And Barcelona face Inter Milan in UEFA Champions League semi-final second leg tonight. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to News at 10 on BTV News. I'm Roya Zabin. You have just heard the headlines, now news in details. The Advisory Council has given final approval to the draft of the Cybersecurity Ordinance 2025. This approval was given at a meeting of the Advisory Council held at the Chief Advisor's office today. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus chaired the meeting. In the meeting, a total of 10 days of leave, including general leave for the Holy Eid al-Azha, was announced. However, all government, semi-government and autonomous offices will remain open on 2 Saturdays, May 17 and May 24, before the Eid holidays commence. The Advisory Council has approved the draft of the National Youth Entrepreneur Development Policy 2025. The meeting also gave both preliminary and final approval to the draft of the Antiquities Ordinance 2025 and the draft of the National Freedom Fighter Council Amendment Ordinance 2025. Besides, the Council has given final approval to the drafts of the Ordinance for determining the boundaries of electoral areas of the National Parliament Amendment 2025, the Renewable Energy Policy 2025, along with a proposal to declare locally produced jute as an agricultural product. After the meeting, a press conference was held at the Foreign Service Academy. At the press conference, Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Advisor Dr. Asif Nazrul stated that the ordinance of determining and amending the boundaries of the electoral constituencies of the National Parliament has been approved according to the requirements of the Election Commission. He mentioned that the new Cyber Security Ordinance will come into effect within next week. The new law has repealed 9 clauses from the previous one.
গত ফ্যাসিস্ট সরকারের আমলে ইচ্ছামতো নির্বাচনী এলাকার সীমানা নির্ধারণ করা হয়েছে। এগুলির বিভিন্ন রাজনৈতিক দলের পক্ষ থেকে কমপ্লেইন আছে। এখন আমাদের সীমানা নির্ধারণ সংক্রান্ত যে আইন আছে সেখানে একটা ক্ল্যারিক্যাল মিস্টেকের কারণে এটা নিয়ে নির্বাচন কমিশন কাজ করতে পারছিল না। তো নির্বাচন কমিশন রিকোয়েস্ট করেছে, তারা এই আইনটা প্রপোজ করেছে। এখন আমরা ওই অ্যামেন্ডমেন্টটা করে দিয়েছি। এখন সীমানা পুনর্নির্ধারণ সংক্রান্ত নির্বাচন কমিশনের যে সাংবিধানিক দায়িত্ব আছে সেটা তারা ইচ্ছা করলে এই আইনটা আপনার গেজেট নোটিফিকেশন হওয়ার সাথে সাথে শুরু করে দিতে পারবে। আমরা দায়িত্ব গ্রহণ করি তখনই আমরা বলেছিলাম আমরা যে আগের যেটা আইন আছে সাইবার সিকিউরিটি অ্যাক্ট সেটা আমরা বাতিল করে আমরা একটা যুগোপযোগী আইন করব। তথ্য প্রযুক্তি মন্ত্রণালয়, আইন মন্ত্রণালয় আমরা সবাই মিলে অনেক কনসালটেশন করেছি। আমার জানা মতে বাংলাদেশে কোনো আইন নিয়ে এত কনসালটেশন হয়নি। আজকে এটা উপদেষ্টা পরিষদের মিটিংয়ে উঠেছিল, তারপর সেখানে একটা অ্যামেন্ডমেন্টের সাজেশন আসছে, সেটাও আমরা অ্যামেন্ড করবো বলে সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছি। এটাও আপনার জাস্ট আমাদের ল মিনিস্ট্রির ভেটিংয়ের পর গেজেট নোটিফিকেশন হবে, হয়তো আপনার এই সপ্তাহের মধ্যে এটা চূড়ান্তভাবে প্রয়োগ হয়ে যাবে। দেশে প্রথমবারের মতো অনলাইন জুয়া নিষিদ্ধ করা হয়েছে। প্রথমবারের মতো সাইবার স্পেসে নারী শিশু নির্যাতন এবং যৌন হয়রানিকে শাস্তিযোগ্য অপরাধ হিসেবে স্বীকৃতি দেওয়া হয়েছে। এবং এই আগের যে আইনটা ছিল ডিজিটাল সিকিউরিটি অ্যাক্ট সেখানকার 9টা ধারা বাতিল করা হয়েছে এবং এই 9টা ধারায় ছিল কুখ্যাত ধারা। এই ধারাগুলোতে 95% মামলা দায়ের হয়েছিল। এই মামলাগুলো এখন স্বয়ংক্রিয়ভাবে বাতিল হয়ে যাবে। স্পিচ অফেন্স বা কথা বলে বা মতামত প্রকাশ করে যে অপরাধ সেখানে মাত্র 2টা অপরাধ রাখা হয়েছে। একটা হচ্ছে নারী ও শিশুর প্রতি যৌন নির্যাতনমূলক কন্টেন্ট প্রকাশ, হুমকি দেওয়া, আর এটা হচ্ছে ধর্মীয় উস্কানিমূলক বক্তব্য বা যে কোনো কন্টেন্ট যেটার কারণে সহিংসতা উস্কে যেতে পারে সেটাকে শাস্তিযোগ্য অপরাধ করা হয়েছে।
At the press conference, Youth and Sports Advisor Asif Mahmood Shajipuya has announced the formulation of a national youth entrepreneur development policy aimed at empowering the youth, creating employment opportunities and fostering entrepreneurship among young
people. এন্টারপ্রেনারদেরকে আমরা সহযোগিতা করতে পারি সেরকম একটা কাঠামো প্রস্তুত করার জন্য এই উদ্যোক্তা নীতিমালা করা হয়েছে। যুব সমাজের ক্ষমতায়ন, তরুণদের মধ্যে দক্ষতা ও সৃজনশীলতা বৃদ্ধি করে তাদের সফল উদ্যোক্তা হিসেবে তৈরি করা প্রয়োজন, আর সেজন্য তরুণদের উৎসাহিত এবং সহায়তা করার জন্য সরকার এই সংক্রান্ত নীতিতে গুরুত্ব দিয়েছে। আশা করছি এই নীতিমালা এবং এর যে প্রস্তাবনাগুলো এখানে এসেছে সেগুলো বাস্তবায়নের মাধ্যমে আমাদের এখানে একটা স্টার্টআপ বুম হবে। পুরো পৃথিবীতে যেটা এখন চলছে আমাদের এখানকার তরুণরাও সেখানে অংশগ্রহণ করতে পারবে।
At the press conference, Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alim stated that this year a 10-day holiday has been announced for Eid al-Azha, including regular leave.
জুন থেকে 10 জুন পর্যন্ত ছিল হচ্ছে ঈদ উল আজহার ছুটি, কিন্তু দেখা যাচ্ছে যে ওয়েডনেসডে এন্ড থার্সডে, যেটা জুন 11 এবং 12, অনেক ক্ষেত্রেই সেইটাকে ছুটি ঘোষণা করে 17 মে এবং 24 মে এই দুইটা স্যাটারডে সরকারি কর্মচারীরা বা যেগুলো আধা সরকারি বা অটোনোমাস এখানে যারা কর্মচারী আছেন তারা এই 2 দিন কাজ করবেন, বিনিময়ে এই 11 এবং 12 তারিখে এই ছুটিটা ঘোষণা হবে। মোট 10 দিন ছুটি। আর এই ক্ষেত্রে ব্যাংক কোম্পানিগুলো যেহেতু তাদের ব্যাংক কোম্পানি অ্যাক্ট দিয়ে চলেন, ব্যাংক কোম্পানি তাদের মতো করে ডিক্লেয়ার করবে, প্রাইভেট কোম্পানিগুলো তাদের মতো করে ছুটি ঘোষণা করবে।
Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus has urged young people to participate more in political activities to translate their dreams into realities and bring meaningful changes to their respective societies. The Chief Advisor made the call when a group of young political activists from different political parties of Norway called on him at the State Guest House Jomuna today. Visiting Norwegian delegates include Najma Ahmed, Deputy Leader of the Socialist Youth League, Fauzi Warsame, International Leader of AUF and Member of the Central Board, Dane Skofterud, Member of the Centre Party, Ola Sveneby, Member of the Conservative Party, Harald Rasmus Juland, Member of the Christian Democrats, Tobias Stokeland, Green Party affiliated group Green Youth's member, and Thyra Hackon-Sloken, former leader of Young Liberals of Inladet. The Chief Advisor inquired about their political backgrounds, visions and activities. He also asked about the percentage of youth participation in mainstream politics of Norway. The visiting political activists shared their experiences about meeting young people in Bangladesh, saying that many of these young Bangladeshis couldn't even vote in their lifetime. They asked what the interim government of Bangladesh was doing to ensure their voting rights. Chief Advisor said the main commitment of the new government is systematic reforms. He said for the last 15 years, people could not vote. Across the 3 terms, a fake voting system was in place, while authorities claimed it was a huge success. In reality, no one could vote. So the reform of the institutions is necessary to ensure young people can exercise their voting rights, the Chief Advisor said. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus has welcomed Canada's Indo-Pacific Trade Representative Paul Thorpil at the State Guest House Jomuna today, where the two sides discussed ways to deepen bilateral economic cooperation and expand investment opportunities. Mr. Thorpil, on his second official visit to Bangladesh, is leading a high-level business delegation comprising senior executives of some of Canada's most recognizable companies, including Bell Helicopter, BlackBerry, Gildan Activewear, JCM Power and Avantech Wireless Communications. The Chief Advisor extended a warm invitation to Canadian investors, stressing Bangladesh's readiness for industrial expansion and its potential as a regional export hub. SDG Affairs Coordinator Senior Secretary Lamia Murshid was also present at the meeting. The Canadian delegation included Ajit Singh, High Commissioner of Canada to Bangladesh, Deborah Boyce, Senior Trade Commissioner at the High Commission of Canada, William Dickey, Commercial Sales Manager at Bell Helicopter, Brad Colwell, Head of Government Solutions at BlackBerry, Ladislaw Papara, South Asia Chief Representative for Export Development Canada, Juan Contreras, Vice President of Gildan Activewear, Mohammad Ali, Regional Director Asia at JCM Power, and Tony Radford, Vice President of Global Sales at Avantech Wireless Communications. For the first time, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between Bangladesh and Italy to facilitate the legal migration of manpower. This was announced by Dr. Asif Nazrul, advisor to the Ministry of Expatriates Welfare and Overseas Employment, following a bilateral meeting with visiting Italian Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi at the ministry in Dhaka today. After the MOU signing, Dr. Nazrul noted that a total of 6 such agreements have been signed during the tenure of the interim government. Italian Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi remarked that Bangladesh and Italy share a long-standing relationship and that Italy always encourages legal migration of workers. During the meeting, the Bangladeshi advisor also urged the Italian minister to simplify the visa process for Bangladeshi students currently residing in Italy. BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia has returned to the country after receiving medical treatment in London. Wife of Tariq Rahman, Dr. Zubaydah Rahman, and wife of the late Arafat Rahman Koko, Sharmila Rahman, also returned with Begum Zia. At around 11 a.m., Begum Zia exited the airport for her Gulshan residence Firoza with her motorcade surrounded by a huge crowd. The area echoed with chants from enthusiastic supporters and massive gatherings lined both sides of the road. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir stated that her return would make the path toward democratic transition in the country easier. In the evening at Gulshan, BNP Standing Committee member Dr. A.Z.M. Zahid Hussain informed the journalists that Begum Khaleda Zia is quite well physically and mentally. Earlier on Monday night at around 9:30 p.m., Begum Zia departed from London's Heathrow Airport with Tariq Rahman seeing her off. She travelled on an air ambulance provided by the Emir of Qatar, which made a stop in Doha before landing at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport in Dhaka at around 10:30 a.m. BNP leaders stated that Khaleda Zia's return signifies the defeat of the long-standing conspiracies against the Zia family. Begum Zia had travelled to London on January 8 for advanced medical treatment and had been staying at her son Tariq Rahman's residence. Although many supporters hoped she would return with Tariq Rahman, he did not accompany her. BNP leaders and activists alleged that the former fascist government imprisoned her with false accusations and deprived her of treatment. National Citizens Party (NCP) has submitted a framework for fundamental reforms, emphasizing the balance of power, accountability and decentralization. The framework was submitted during an extended discussion between NCP and National Consensus Commission at LD Hall of সংসদ Bhavan in Dhaka today. While receiving the framework, Vice Chairman of National Consensus Commission, Professor Ali Riaz, said that the Commission is striving to conclude the first phase of discussions with political parties by May 15. Following that, the Commission aims to swiftly initiate the second phase of the discussions with the parties, he added. Members of the Commission, Justice Muhammad Imdadul Haq, Dr. Badiul Alam Mojumdar, Sofir Raj Hussain, Dr. Iftikharuzaman and Chief Advisor's Special Assistant Monir Haider were present at the meeting. Member Secretary of National Citizen Party Akhtar Hussain led the 5-member delegation. Other members of the delegation were party's joint convener Sarwar Tushar, joint convener Javed Rasin, chief organizer Sajish Alam and central organizer Arman Hussain. After the discussion, Akhtar Hussain informed the journalists that National Citizens Party has included necessary reforms in the framework of fundamental reforms, keeping in mind three key aspects: balance of power, accountability and decentralization. The Appellate Division of the Supreme Court today adjourned hearing the appeal petition filed by former Jamaat-e-Islami Assistant Secretary ATM Aharul Islam, challenging his death penalty for crimes against humanity till 8 May. The 7 members full appellate bench led by Chief Justice Dr. Syed Rifat Ahmed started the hearing. Lawyer Mohammad Shishi Mone presented arguments on behalf of the petitioner. On 30th of December in 2014, ATM Aharul Islam was sentenced to death by the International Crimes Tribunal on charges number 2, 3 and 4. Besides, he was sentenced to 25 years of imprisonment for abduction, torture, rape and other inhuman crimes under charge number 5 and 5 years of imprisonment for torture under the charge number 6. After hearing the appeal against the tribunal's verdict on 31st of October in 2019, the appellate bench led by the then Chief Justice Syed Mahmood upheld the death sentence in a judgment. The full copy of the Appellate Division's verdict was published on 15th of March 2020. ATM Aharul Islam filed a review petition against that verdict on 19th of July of the same year. In the 23 pages review petition, a total of 14 arguments were presented. Following the hearing of that review petition on 26th of February last, the Appellate Division, led by Chief Justice Syed Rifat Ahmed, granted ATM Aharul Islam permission to appeal against the death sentence. Welcome back to News at 10, and we move on to international news. Israel attacked Yemen, Lebanon and Syria as well as Gaza, where airstrikes killed at least 54 people on Monday. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Gaza's more than 2 million people will be moved in a new ground offensive as Israel's total blockade on the enclave reaches 65 days. Hospitals in Gaza are 48 hours away from collapse, and the lives of thousands of sick and wounded are at risk, the Gaza media office said. Israel's attack has killed at least 52,567 Palestinians and wounded 118,610, according to Gaza's health ministry. The government media office updated the death toll to more than 61,700. India's government has ordered officials to carry out civil defense drills in much of the country on Wednesday as it prepares for a potential military conflict with Pakistan, its neighbor and arch-rival. Tensions between the nuclear-armed countries, which have fought several wars, have escalated since April 22, when gunmen killed 26 people in the India-controlled part of the Kashmir region, which both countries claim. India accuses Pakistan of being involved in the terror attack, which Pakistan denies. India has been making a case for carrying out military strikes on what it calls havens for terrorists in Pakistan. Pakistan has promised to respond in kind to any military action by India. In recent days, exchanges of small arms fire have broken out along the country's border, and a flurry of activity in New Delhi has suggested that an India strike could be imminent. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has met repeatedly with his military leaders, and his officials have continued to talk in public about taking action against Pakistan. Russia attacks the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv after Ukrainian drone attacks in Moscow caused the temporary closure of the city's airports overnight. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin says at least 19 Ukrainian drones were destroyed, while the Russian military says it had shot down more than 100 across the country. It is the second night in a row that Ukraine has attacked Moscow and comes 3 days before a major parade in the city, marking victory in Europe in World War II. A 3-day ceasefire in Ukraine announced by Vladimir Putin is due to start on Thursday. Meanwhile, Ukraine insists it's still fighting inside the Russian region of Kursk, despite Moscow saying it was in full control of the area. Ukraine says Russian attacks killed 3 people in Sumy near Kursk, while Russia says Ukraine killed 3 people on the Russian side of the border. Back to national news. For the first time, 11 students from the Aviation and Aerospace University of Bangladesh have created a stir with their own innovation. Competing with 1,200 students from 159 universities around the world, they secured the 18th position for their drone design. The competition, organized by the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, featured participants from prestigious institutions such as MIT and Stanford. In recognition for their outstanding achievement in the International Design Build Fly competition, the university held a formal reception with the students today. At the event, Vice-Chancellor Air Vice Marshal A.K.M. Munirul Bahar said the students of the Aviation and Aerospace University have demonstrated extraordinary creativity and innovative talent. He also stated they have proven that they don't just dream, but also have the ability to turn their dreams into reality. The students were later formally presented with certificates of honor. Now some weather updates. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said rain or thunder showers with lightning flashes and temporary gusty wind is likely to occur at 1 or 2 places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka, Mymensingh, Khulna, Borishal, Chattogram and Sylhet divisions. Night temperature may remain nearly unchanged and day temperature may rise slightly over the country. Country's highest temperature was recorded today at Bakhabari in Sirajganj, 36.5 degrees Celsius, and capital Dhaka's highest temperature was 34.4 degrees Celsius. Now news on sports. Barcelona will face Inter Milan tonight in the do-or-die clash as they play the second leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final tie in Italy. The match will start at 1 a.m. Bangladesh Standard Time. Barcelona made 3-3 draw with Inter Milan in their home ground in the first leg earlier this week. Inter Milan and Barcelona have played against each other 13 times in the Champions League, and Barcelona have a big edge over Inter, having won 6 of those matches. Inter have only won 2 matches, whereas 5 games ended in a draw. The winner of this match will face either Arsenal or Paris Saint-Germain in Munich in June 1st to round off the season. With the dream of retaining the title, Bangladesh under-19 national football team flew to India today to participate in the 7th edition of the SAF Under-19 Football Championship. The youth teams of 6 South Asian nations vie for the regional supremacy in the tournament, built to be held in Arunachal from May 9 to 18. Bangladesh won their first title at the under-19 level by defeating Nepal by 4-1 in the final last year. Bangladesh is in Group A, while Maldives and Bhutan. Group B includes Nepal, Sri Lanka and host India. Bangladesh will kick off their campaign against Maldives on May 9 and face Bhutan on May 11. South Africa emerging women's cricket team defeated Bangladesh by 5 wickets in the first ODI of the 3-match series in Chittagong. Bangladesh girls were bowled out for 179 runs in 47 overs, 5 balls at Bishreshto Flight Lieutenant Motiur Rahman Stadium. Sumaya Akhtar scored 52. scored 34 and Isma Tanjim scored 29 runs for the team. In reply, South Africa women team scored 180 runs for 5 wickets in 45 overs, 5 balls. Faye Tunnicliffs scored 89 not out and Elise Murray Marks scored 50 not out for the team. The remaining 2 matches of the series will be held on May 8 and 11 at the same venue. Before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Advisory Council meeting held with Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus in the chair. Advisory Council gives final approval to draft of the Cyber Security Ordinance 2025. Ten-day government holiday for upcoming Holy Eid al-Azha. Government offices to remain open on 2 Saturdays on May 17 and May 24. BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia returns home after treatment in London. Party leaders and activists expressed jubilation and greetings. Khaleda Zia's return will make the path of transition to democracy of country easier, opines BNP Secretary General. MOU signed